So today I'm going to talk about a habit tracking app called Habit Tracker. Now, why should you care about habits? Well, there's actually a famous research study done by Duke University that finds that over 40% of the actions that we do every single day are habitual. They're automatic and we do them without thinking. And this is actually cited in famous books such as The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg and Atomic Habits by James Clear. And the crucial lesson here is if you want to make dramatic changes to your lifestyle, for self-improvement, then an easy way to do that is focus on these things that are automatic, because if you can change them, you don't have to think about it. You just do it and you become a better person without thinking about it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the habit tracking app. The first thing you'll see is this home screen, but you'll want to navigate to the tab where you can kind of come up with habit ideas. And what I really like about this is that it's categorized it in kind of themes that can help you get started with areas of your life you could improve on. So it could be losing weight, being more positive, better skin, learning a language. And what you'll see is if you click on, for example, you're learning a language, you'll see here that there's various habits you could build, whether it's learn a word a day, listen to a specific podcast, read the news in that language. So it gives you some really nice ideas. Alternatively, if you want to create your own specific habit, you've got one in mind, you can go to the home screen and select this plus icon, where again, it will come up with some default ones that are very common, like reading, exercising. But we're going to click on custom because we have a specific idea. And let's say it's to read for 30 minutes every day. And what I'm going to do is tag that as lifestyle. But you can call it whatever you want. You could have health, finances, social, and I'll show you where that comes in useful later on. And you can pick an icon. So it'd be really cool if there was a book somewhere. Here we go, yep. And then I'll pick a colour. Blue seems like a kind of reading colour. And then this is where the settings really lie, and you can have goals. So perhaps if you were making a goal for flossing, you'd actually want to change the count to twice daily. Or brushing your teeth or something. And maybe you don't want to have it at the weekend, which I won't, so I'll untick them. And the other thing I really like is the time range. So generally I want to read in the evening, so I'll select that, and basically later on I'll show you how you can filter to say only show me the things that are relevant for the current time. You can set reminders, so perhaps you want to be reminded at 9 p.m. to start reading. Alternatively, you saw there that you can actually set locations, so maybe every time you're walking to work you want to greet or say hello to a friend. There's a good idea. You can set motivation messages and how long the habit lasts for. Maybe you only want to give up drinking for the month of January, as is quite common, like dry January. But I'm just going to leave it as is. So the second really powerful part of this app is kind of like the tracking of the habits and the user experience that goes along with it. So what you see here is I've got my read for 30 minutes habit, and let's say I've just performed that. It's just a really simple swipe right to complete. And what you've seen here now is a memo has popped up. This is a setting that you can turn on and off, and I think it's really, really useful for some habits. Let's say you're working out or you're trying to give up sugar, and when you write complete, you can kind of put a note and say it was really hard because of this, or I found it really easy because I locked away all the sugar away today in cupboards where I couldn't see it. And so this comes in useful when you're reviewing, which I'll come on to in part 3, about how you can realize cues that are kind of triggering your habits to be a success or a failure. I'm going to leave it blank for now. Alternatively, if you swipe right, you kind of get a few options. So you can skip, where I think is a premium feature, but it's basically if you're happy to skip, but you want to continue your streak because maybe a life event's come up, or you're happy that you're allowed to skip for that day. Or you can hide it, which is kind of saying, I don't want to think about that today, I'm not going to complete it. What's also nice is the filtering that I mentioned. So if at the moment, you'll see if I pull down, you can kind of have a series of filters based on the status, the time, and a tag. The two that I find really useful is filtering between time. So you can say now, which I think is the most relevant to do. So these are the ones that I've said that I can complete in the afternoon because it's 3 p.m. right now. So you'll see, if I go back to all, it's hidden Review Todoist, Review Monzo, which is my finances app, because I like to do them in the evening at the end of the day. And so it kind of is good to like mentally declutter and not have them kind of taxing your brain when you can't do anything about them right now. Similarly, if you wanted to focus on lifestyle or health or other tags that you'd created, you can do that here. And obviously, of course, if you filter to stats where you've not met them yet, aka ignore the ones you've completed, you can do that too. So it's really, really easy to kind of change and manipulate that. Okay, part 3 is about reviewing your progress and your habits. So the main thing I like to do here is go to this habits tab, which kind of shows you all of the habits that you've got. It gives you a high level view of how many days you've been doing it, how many times you've actually completed it. And what I'm going to pick here is the workout habit that I've got. And there's kind of like 4 key sections to this, which I'll come on to each in turn. So firstly, like the monthly view is really nice to get a snapshot of when I've worked out, when I took rest days, and so on. And one thing you're obviously going to run into is some days you'll forget to log into this habit tracker app, but all is not lost, because let's say I'd forgotten to log 14th of May. What you can just quickly do is tap, and it gives you a confirmation, say, do you want to say you've done this? I tick it, it comes up with the memo, and it's gone. I'm just going to delete that now, because I didn't. But it's really, really powerful to get like a monthly view of how you're progressing. Secondly, you can do the same with the year, which is kind of like, for those who use GitHub, really cool to see like a frequency graph of when you've worked out, and you can do it to past year or specific years. And then there's records. So one thing I personally focus on is like the completion rate. So there are streaks here, but especially for things like working out, I don't actually want to do that every single day. I want to have rest days, and so the streak is kind of like the wrong metric to focus on. It's more about the number of check-ins you've done that month and the completion rate, which I like that this app has both those metrics displayed. Really, really simple. Also, you'll see next up is the memos. So as I mentioned previously, if you're consistently writing memos saying I found it really hard because of this, or I found it really easy because of this other thing, you'll see that evolve over time, and when you're reviewing in the future you can be like, maybe I need to change something to get better. Maybe I need to hide away my chocolate so I don't eat it. And hopefully over time you can kind of use that to your advantage. There is a final section on charts and graphs. I'll be honest, I haven't found much use out of it, but I think that's because I've only been using it for the last couple of weeks, whereas over time maybe you can start to analyze like upward trajectories or downward where you're not doing so as well. Now, the bonus feature I just want to talk to you about is this idea of grouping your habits, like collaborating with others. So I've actually tried this out with my partner because we both want to floss in the evening. And so what you can actually do is, if you click this plus icon here, you can pick any one of your habits that you currently have set for yourself and share it. So let's say I want to work out next. You put it in the Apple ID of your friend, and then you get this kind of grouped habit, and you can kind of see how they've progressed, whether they've completed it or not. And you can also poke them, which will send them a notification to say, oh, you should fast today. And I think this is a really nice feature, because sometimes habits are group activities, like maybe you're giving up fast food or smoking or drinking, things that actually have been shown to really be effective to do it with other people and in groups where you can support each other. So I really, really like that. So that's been my review of the Habit Tracker app. I hope you give it a try, or at least got some value out of watching this video. If you did, please hit like and subscribe if you want to hear and watch more content like this. Thank you.